students who would be done with school, and then from there they do not know what direction to take. Perhaps they have studied for something, and at this point they're not so lucky to get a job. So if they're not so lucky to get a job, then what next? Does it mean that they just sit pretty? If an opportunity presents itself as something totally than what it is, or totally different from what it is that they have studied for, do they run with it? Do they try and embrace that? Do they, focus on making sure that they can at least eke a living out of this, or do they just leave it? So this morning we get into the world of employment, and we understand just how ready can you be for employment, and most importantly, how do you grow that career? We have none other than Amos Kirwa. Amos Kirwa is KIPS Technical College, and of course we'll be talking about that, and they'll definitely tell us at the level of the institution, how are the students trained to embrace this, to make the best out of it, and most importantly, eke a living. Long gone are the days where you just want to say, well, unemployment, government, can you help us, and all this. We want to shift that and focus on something totally different. So let's get to say that, there are people who are out there, you really do not know what to do at this very point. Maybe you're done with school, or maybe you're just getting into high school. At what stage do you start making sure that you're ready for employment and career growth? Amos, thank you so much for creating time to be with us this morning.
Thank you too.
You're well?
Yeah, I'm well.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Something small about KIPS.
KIPS Technical College is a middle-level tertiary institution that was established in 1994.
Right.
It is majorly located in the CBD, Nairobi. That is, the main office is at Afya Center, 11th floor. But we have branches across Nairobi town. One being in Thika Road, that is along Mirema Drive. We have another one in Greenspan Mall, that is in Greenspan, Embakasi East. We have another one in around fire station here, just next to Koja Stage.
Right.
We have another one at Philadelphia Building, just adjacent to the Afya Center. So we majorly train skill-based courses that prepares an individual not only to be a job seeker, but a job creator. As an institution also, we have developed what we call a KIPS Foundation, where we facilitate those students with entrepreneurial skills to start up a business.
Nice.
And develop their careers individually, and later on they pay slowly as they grow. They create job opportunities also.
So how long since the foundation is inception?
It's now 3 years.
And it has done well?
It has done fantastically
We have
well.
students who can categorically state that out of this foundation, I have my business running?
Very. Around 4 or 5 so far that have successfully gone through. Yes.
All right, we get to this very conversation that is very, very important. Just what is career planning and readiness?
Now, when you talk about career planning or career readiness in general, is that ability of an individual to feel that he is ready to face the world as it brings different opportunities. Now, for one to be ready, let's say career ready, first of all, this person has to undergo through some skills training.
Right.
Later on, before this person is released to the world, this person has to be taken through what we call a career development training.
Okay.
At KIPS, we have such career development training. Usually, those students who are exiting, we organize workshops. We invite stakeholders in various industries in Kenya. They come and talk to them. They explain to them the importance of being ready. And some of the areas for one to be ready that we usually look at is communication. If you cannot communicate, then you may never link with the world.
Right.
2 is emotional management. Some people believe after graduation,
that's it.
yes. But in
you're
reality,
supposed to get a job.
Yeah,
like,
you are supposed to get a job.
Be ready for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some of these employers might even invite you for an interview just to test how you can manage your emotions as an individual.
Is it?
Yes.
So at the stage of the interview, sometimes they will give you emotional, questions,
Yes.
challenges that
Yes,
perhaps
challenges.
if you're not keen enough.
Yes.
You
will just lose your opportunity there,
Okay.
just because of personal emotions.
All right.
We also have a program that trains them on networking.
Okay.
You see, at the end of the day, when you release this person, he is ready because he has been trained all round. Other than the skills in class, we have also trained this person as KIPS to be ready for any eventuality outside the world. Yes.
All right. Well, that is amazing.
Yes.
Would love to for us to get to the bottom of this and perhaps get to understand. There are instances even at a very low level in school. You know, teachers will ask students, "What would you want to be when you grow up?" and all that. Perhaps just how important is it for one to start working on their career, or making this student ready? At what stage, for instance? How important would it be to do it at a very lower level as opposed to that level of college or that level of campus? Most of the people will wait until they're in campuses when you decide, now I want to take this, I want to focus on this course, and this course I would want to believe is what is going to shape my career. But just how important would it be for one to start this, even at the level of primary school?
True, it is very important to mentor or to understand the career trajectory of a young person.
Yeah.
Nowadays, parents choose for us careers, and we later on do not achieve because probably in our own liking, we didn't want to take that route. The best thing I would advise, and actually we have that program at KIPS Technical also, we discuss with the students, the prospect students, what would you love to be in life? What is your best area of interest? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Once you understand the strengths and the weaknesses, you also provide the opportunities available to this young person.
Yeah.
This person will be able to make an informed decision. Unlike where a child is left to decide, or the parent decides for a child, and when it reaches at a certain point, this child or this person is stuck in life. I would personally propose that if we have such a scenario, let mentor these young kids as from tender age.
Right.
As young as they are. You look at your child and you will know huyu anapenda football, huyu anapenda music, huyu anapenda nini. Motivate them towards their liking.
Sometimes it can be tricky. Sometimes it can be tricky because you realize that some of these things that they like and they appear to be good at, perhaps are not in line with anything to do with education, like you say. Sometimes I know there are schools that would train music and all that, but you find that the normal curriculum would perhaps not incorporate or accommodate that. In such a case, how do you strike that balance such that you try and nurture their talent, you try and guide them towards that line of career, but at the same time have them understanding the importance of education?
Number one, for you to achieve your career, you must be at least knowledgeable about that thing. And the only way you can be knowledgeable is through research. And the only way you can do research is by acquiring an education. So at the end of the day, whether this person is going to be a musician and would want to improve in his or her career, he has to have some level of reading, basic education. That is generally O level, like in Kenya, KCSE.
Right.
Yes.
All right. The steps of career development, very, very important. But even before we come to that, what are the most important things that one then would want to look at, first of all, in terms of skills and those ones that one would need to make sure that they shape their career and they are set to be ready for the career, in that by the time you're exiting KIPS, then you go out there, you're released to the world. There's this skill that you come out of this space with. There's this general thing that perhaps would cut across all students that would make them career ready. I
think being all round.
Okay.
I would say being all round assists you to fit in every society.
But does that mean being a jack of all trades, a master of none?
I wouldn't think so, but I believe looking at the current trends, looking at the current business environments, the environments we are living in now have changed from being profit-oriented to customer-focused. Now, if an industry, for example, requires a plumber, the first thing this person will be required to have is the skill. Once he has the skill, then now we come and look at the growth part of it, of his career. Now, is this person able to communicate? Is this person able to do networking? Is this person innovative enough to develop problem-solving solutions? Are we together?
Right.
Such scenarios will assist us ascertain at what point this young man or this person can fit in this industry. There are these skills we go to school to study. They are as important as also those that we don't study. Like what we do now in KIPS, other than the classwork, we encourage these students to participate in workshops. These workshops open up their minds. These workshops encourage them to network. These workshops, they will give them an experience of what world is before they join that world.
Okay.
Yes.
So the learning institution is pretty important in making sure that a student then shapes their career path.
True. Yes.
Very, very important.
Very important.
What are some of the critical rules? And I know you have spoken about KIPS and what it is that you do. But on a general perspective, a learning institution, of what importance is it, in as much as we say that it's fine, this student is taking this course. So it appears as though it's automatic that once they're out there, then they're going to get a job in line with that course. But today, while a learning institution is very, very important, you realize that we are in that space where people are doing distance learning. So it's on rare occasions that they will come to meet with the lecturers. It's on rare occasions that they will take advantage of these programs that are being offered in school. But still, there's the very same people who are expecting that once they have graduated from KIPS, then they go out there and they're able to get, a career. They are able to fit into a certain space of, work, and they successfully manage to do this. So when we're talking about the importance of institutions, just how far do they go?
I think the Kenyan education system has made it important that at whatever level of learning, students or trainees in that aspect must be trained on life skills. Now, that is a subject that was introduced, and it covers the general behavioral tendencies of life. As a young person, how am I supposed to behave at a certain position, at a certain area? How will I remain competitive in the market? Those are some of the areas. How do I network? Now, whether you come physically or virtually or distance learning, at one point, there is a training on that life skills, and there is an evaluation on the same, and there is a award for the same, because when we evaluate you, we will be able to know what line of thinking you are taking. And we can be able to advise you, but we cannot decide, but we advise you on how you can tackle such issues or such challenges that may come up in life.
And therefore, how can one then, or better yet, how can career readiness be measured so that you can look at the student and say, now this one is ripe for the market, this one would go out there and they would survive? Because again, on several occasions, and perhaps that's what informs that need for us to have adjustments of the curriculum. Perhaps that's the reason why we have the competency-based curriculum today, which we still are asking whether it is good or not. They have said most of the times we find that our institutions release half-baked students, that once they're out there, they're not ready for the job market. Once they're out there, and they go to the global fraternity, they go to other countries, they have to go through another form of training so that they appear to be ready for the job market. So how do we measure the readiness of a student, of an individual, once we release them to the world?
I think the readiness of an individual to job market is majorly a perception. Now, and this perception has been created by the ever-changing environment. Now, for us to understand that this person is ready for the market, this person, first of all, must be able to understand how to communicate. And communication begins from just the simple things, how to draft a CV. Then how to network, how to remain competitive, even at his point of being a student, in such a way that this student can he or she be able to solve or find a solution to a challenge at that level. Assuming he or she is not able to find a challenge at that level, what happens to a higher level? So those are some of the elements we look at: communication, networking, emotional management, personal behavior, personal grooming. before we could say this person is ready for the job market.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So a shift of career, most of the times, is one thing that a majority of people then will get to experience. And sometimes you're told, it's not too late to pick a different trajectory. That perhaps this is what you studied in school, and then you get to this space, you get something else that entices you, and you'd want to shift. Or perhaps you get to this space and you realize that, well, what you schooled for is not as marketable, and therefore at this point then you think, what else can I go for? In such a space, what would you advise a student, that at this point in life you have to shift your career to something totally different?
First of all, we have to understand where you are coming from before we could advise you to shift. Where are you coming from in your thought and in your beliefs as an individual? And then we link up with what are your expectations? What is the bigger picture of what you think is ahead of you in your future? And then from there now, we can link the two and advise you accordingly. However, during these trainings, there is a subject called entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is now a mandatory subject across all technical institutions.
Oh yeah?
At this point, we train students not to look for jobs, rather to create jobs.
Okay.
Once we have given you a skill, you can develop a business plan, write a proposal, send to these funders like the KIPS Foundation. They will finance your business and they will monitor your business grow until it succeeds. You become a motivation to others. So I think changing a career vis-a-vis having an entrepreneurial skills is also part of what we do and encourage them.
Okay.
Yes.
There are instances where one is so rigid to a certain career, and you are done, you have taken this course, and in your mind you're thinking, this is what I am going to do. For instance, KIPS, and they have done ICT, and they're out there, and you realize that there are no opportunities for ICT. Perhaps this child or this student has not so much focused on the entrepreneurial skills, and so they're out here, but a different opportunity presents itself, contrary to what it is that they studied for. There's that aspect of being rigid. You really do not want to try murky waters. You do not want to try new waters. In such a case, how do we train them to be flexible enough to run with what it is that presents itself as you await to get into that space that you like?
I think in that aspect of rigidity, we majorly look at the key aspect. What is the picture behind the rigidness of this young person? Probably he has another idea that he is not willing to share. Can we talk to this person until he opens up, then support what he thinks is right? Two, I think the world now is a global village. Being rigid will not take you far. We actually encourage our students to be round-based, and that is why I told you, like at KIPS, we have that program of student mentorship, preparation for the job market. It is at that point when we have all these stakeholders, the CEOs of various companies, the HR of various companies, with their experiences. I'm very sure it even opens up the mind of that rigid person. Yes.
All right. So is there a difference between career readiness and work readiness, in the sense that this is your career, this is your line, and you're ready for it? But there are instances like what we say, there is a different work that would present itself, and therefore you have to train yourself, you have to be ready for anything. So what is the difference between the two, or are they one and the same? Career readiness and work readiness?
Career readiness, majorly, they are more or less related, but there is a distinction between career readiness and work readiness. Now, career readiness majorly looks at your field of growth or learning. How have you envisioned your future? How are you willing to develop and grow up in future? Whereas job readiness is how flexible are you with the availability of the current job? What can you do within the short time to enter into the business and find this current available opportunity absorbing you or fitting within your abilities to perform? Okay. Yes.
All right. Well, Amos, allow us to take a quick short break, and then we come back, expound further on getting to understand, this aspect of career readiness. Employment is out here. Sometimes we'll say there are no jobs, but again, just how ready and ripe are you that in the event that a job presents itself, then you will deliver. We take a short break and then we come back to that. All right.
untold stories.
You are a registered teacher or instructional leader in either private or public school. Mount Kenya University invites you to enroll for the Teacher Professional Development Program. The university is an accredited TPD service provider by the Teacher Service Commission. September intake is ongoing and the training will be conducted from 19th to 23rd September 2022. The introductory module is offered online. Download the MKU TPD app from Play Store. Mount Kenya University, unlocking infinite possibilities.
Usiyakubalie maumivu ya misuli kukatiza ratiba yako. Kaluma Pain Balm ni dawa ya kusugua iliyotengenezwa kutoka kwa miche maalum ili kutuliza maumivu ya misuli. Kaluma Pain Balm. Shhh. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
All right, Amos Kirwa from KIPS is here with us, a registrar of academics, and I mean, we'd love to understand just what is KIPS in full, you know, because you see, it's been very popular at school, yes. And so there's always that assumption that everybody understands and knows what KIPS is all about. So briefly, just tell us in full. The Kenya Institute of
Professional Studies.
Very, very important that people get to know that, yeah?
Yes.
And therein, what courses do you offer?
Now, at KIPS, we offer both technical and business courses. Now, when you talk about technical, we are talking about hands-on training courses, such as plumbing, electrical engineering, we have masonry, we have motor vehicle mechanics, we also have food and beverage production, we have social work. And then when we talk about business, we have the business management itself, supply chains, accountancy. We have also banking and finance. We train procurement and supply chain management. We also have ICT. We also have journalism. Yeah, we have quite a range of courses that can fit the society.
All right, that's good. And remember, our focus this morning is on employment readiness and career growth. We have about 15 minutes or thereabout to close this one. But before we go, Mwalimu says here that it is very, very important that, again, you also engage those ones that are specialists to get to understand what line you fit, and that it is very, very important to get skills on understanding how ready you can be for employment. It reaches a stage where, yes, you have gotten to your career and, you know, you appear to be ready, you appear to be ripe, and then you're running it and you want to advance. So at what stage do we then get to learn career advancement? And does it require for someone to go back to an institution to know that now I am in media, fine, I studied for production, I have been doing production, but now I would want to get to a managerial aspect. I'd want to get to the screen. I want to advance my career. So in this space of career advancement, how different is it with career readiness?
I think in theory X of management, we are told there are scholars who believe managers are born, and there are scholars who believe managers are made.
Okay.
However, I believe that for one to advance in his career, either to top, number one, this person must be, first of all, ready for the opportunity that will present itself. Two, this person must have had a vision of his career, that at least in life or in future, I must be the CEO somewhere.
Right.
Then three, this person must now acquire the skills necessary for the management. And at this point now, this is when now the person can advance or can join these workshops. You can learn through workshops on how various managers have succeeded in life, not necessarily in school. Then at that point, now you look at yourself and try to find or try to be innovative. Innovation alone will take you now to that position you intend to be. Because we read about the many people who have succeeded in management, and at one point you will realize that this person did something unique than other employees in an organization
Yeah.
that projected him or her to that position.
That's true.
Yes.
Sometimes you really do not look at the angle of advancing to be a manager.
Yes.
But for instance, like law, you'd find someone who's a lawyer, then they'd want to get to that level of being a counsel, an attorney, a senior counsel, and all that. So what really is the heart and the engine of career advancement? Some will tell you experience, some will tell you perhaps you have to go back to school and get some more in terms of education. Just what is the engine towards this?
Experience and continuous personal development. Not necessarily in class,
Okay.
but the field you encounter every day, the challenges you encounter, the solutions you provide to the challenges you encounter in life. That one still can project you to a certain level of experience, and that experience of course will project you to that level of your dream. Yes.
But just how is class and school important in such a space of career advancement?
There are some soft skills that you are required, of course, to know or to have in certain positions, and at that point is when now the advancement of class comes in. Yes, for example, you could be an engineer, and maybe at one point you never studied strategic management. But here you are faced with strategic decisions that you have to make.
Okay.
Now, it requires some skills, either that are derived from class or from workshop or from reading across the successful and the failure stories of various people in the society.
All right.
Yes.
Sometimes people are just good and you just find yourself into a skill and you're performing so well. For instance, say the computer.
Yes.
You have been exposed to a computer not through class
Yes.
pretty early,
Yes.
and therefore you really have some proper background and understanding of the same.
Yes.
For instance, driving, perhaps with your own friends, with your family, with your parents, they get you to the wheel
Yes.
before you even get that license.
Yes.
I mean, just how important is it for someone to say that, okay, well, I think my dad was a carpenter, or my dad was a mechanic, and I used to accompany him to the garage, and slowly by slowly I got to understand some things. Such a person would tell you that, well, I can make money out of this without having to hit the class. Why don't I just proceed and start making money? How important would it be for them to go and acquire papers for this?
I think at one point, like currently in Kenya, every profession is being actually, I would say, being put into a kind of a professional body. And for you to operate such activities, you must have a license or you must have an authority from that body overseeing it. So at one point, you will be required. Like now, in electrical engineering, there are so many people who can do wiring, they can do electrical installation. But now, with the requirements and the act set up by Parliament on electrical distribution across the country, for you to do a wiring, you must have a license. Now, for you to be given that license, you must have acquired a certain qualification.
Okay.
Are you together?
Yes.
So, all in all, whether you have that skill or knowledge, you will still have to go back to school to get that paper that will give you that license to achieve that dream of yours.
Okay.
Yes.
It is a space of TVET.
Yes.
That is highly being embraced in comparison to what we've had at the higher, institutions of learning.
Yes.
Just how important is this space of TVET, tertiary learning, like you rightfully put it, these technical and vocational training processes? Just how crucial are they to fill up and to also make sure that we have students that are ready for the job market?
TVET, the coming in of TVET has saved a lot this country because there are some jobs that people used to call odd jobs, but in real life, they are the well-paying jobs. For example, I can give you a plumbing. A plumber, now people are moving from the pit latrines to the in-house toilets, isn't it? You need a plumber.
Yes.
Now, your toilet blocks, your child drops maybe a bottle, a plastic inside it blocks. This plumber comes here and tells you, for me to do this, I need 2,000. He does that work in less than 2 hours. Now, if you apply the multiplication effect of that and assume that this plumber will get at least 10 houses to do that plumbing work in a day, that person has roughly 20,000 in a day, isn't it? That, which is tax-free.
That's good money, yes.
Yes. Now, the coming in of TVET has actually helped and is going to help this country, because we will stop focusing on white-collar jobs and look at what the normal
Skill-based, yes.
the skill-based jobs that anybody can earn, can make a living out of it. And I can confirm to you that most of our students that we have trained, either in plumbing, from KIPS technical or electrical, they are doing much better in their field, because at first, you know, when you are encouraging this person to do this course, there is that belief that ini kazi ya uchafu.
Yeah.
But when that person starts earning, the
They feel the
uchafu in it
sweetness.
disappears.
That's true.
Yes.
Wanasema pesa zako zinanuka, not a problem. Money is money.
Money is money.
Money is
And
money.
you never know which money came from who, where.
And perhaps that answers my next question, because I wanted to ask,
Yes.
can the readiness then lead to better employment and earnings?
Exactly.
Very important.
Very important.
Okay.
If you are ready and you are able and you are willing, definitely it will lead you to direct earnings. Yes.
A friend of mine is watching. She asks, very, very important subject that we are discussing this morning, Linda. But that trouble that comes with exploration of career is one that perhaps we'd love for the registrar to address. One, she speaks of career exploration and skill development. Before we come to that space of even developing on the skill and the career that you've chosen, very, very important to explore a couple of them.
Yes.
And people will tell you that sometimes you have those ones that appear to be similar.
Yes.
And so in the process of exploration, you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes you ask yourself, why did I take this direction? That is why then you find yourself going back to school.
Yes.
Because you feel like what it is that you picked really does not, you know, sit in well with what would be your interest, with what would be your passion. And we all understand how important passion is, especially for one to be successful in their career. And so in this space of career exploration, just how important would it be for parents, for teachers, for lecturers to work with students so that in all this that appears to be more or less the same, you know, this is communication, there's literature, away from literature there's PR, away from PR there's communication itself, you know, and there's journalism therein. How does one then explore these career lines to get the actual one that would work for them?
I think it begins from the point of your dream. Usually, a person will come, I can give you an example to answer that question, will come to KIPS and say, I want to do this course.
Yeah.
For us, we don't admit that person direct. We first talk to this person, look at the results that he or she has achieved either in O level, that is KCSE.
Yeah.
Try to explain to this person the various areas that are available.
Okay.
Ask this person the dream he has in his life.
Okay.
What is his vision? How does he intend to achieve that vision? Then now give him the pros and cons of every discussion you have held.
Yeah.
And then allow him to think about it. Don't rush to it. Let him also consult. Let the parents also be involved. And that at that point, when that person makes a decision, start supporting that person from the first decision he makes to proceed with that course.
Okay.
Now, in that process, you will be building this person, and you will also be encouraging others.
Good.
Yes.
All right. In all this, what is very, very important, I think, this person has already chosen their career. They now are settled. They want to make this better. They want to advance in this. Are there instances where resilience is not, you know, a virtue that we really uphold? How do we train them also at that very early stage to be keen on being resilient after they've gotten themselves into this space of career?
I think the character of an individual largely depends on the background. However, in our learning institutions, example in KIPS, we have that avenue where before this person completes his studies, he has to be exposed through the industrial liaison office. Anatafutiwa attachment, anaenda anasoma vitu 1, 2, 3, akifanya 1, 2, 3. Now, at that point, when they come back, they have to write a report. At this point, we are able to identify at what weak points this person, and how can we assist this person to be strong. Because some of us who grew through during Moi time,
Yes.
you know, we grew through the hard, even if our parents were good, whether rich or poor,
The challenges
they were
there.
strict.
Yes.
They were very strict, and we learned to survive with that strictness.
Okay.
Unlike nowadays where mtoto wangu, that
Yes.
mtoto wangu is killing a lot of lives in this republic. However, we try as much as possible to take this person through some counseling also. We have a guiding and counseling at KIPS. Sometimes all students are called. They are given an opportunity to discuss whatever they feel,
Yeah.
open up their minds, open up whatever they feel. Then people share their experiences, and then we assist them.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to look at some of the messages that the people have sent here. Quite tremendous feedback. And of course, asking for the contacts of KIPS and so much more about the information, which I'm sure you will give us as we come to a close. What would be your advice to those ones that now are perhaps done with high school and would want to get into the space of campus, but most importantly, they want to go to the right institutions that will help shape what it is that they are passionate about?
Those who have completed Form 4 KCSE, this is my advice. Think of your future. Plan your future. Identify the direction you want to take. Identify the institution that will lead you to that direction. KIPS is one of them. And if you look at our motto, your sure path to success. From the point of admission, we ensure and we work hard to ensure that this young person whom is in our hands achieves his or her dreams through guidance, step by step, until the exit stage.
Okay.
So I encourage them to think of skill-based courses rather than white-collar jobs. I advise them to think of joining technical institutions. Yes, universities are good, but now universities train more of theory. TVETs train more of practical.
Okay.
The field or the world now is more of practical. All customer-focused activities are practical. They are not imaginary.
Right.
So I would welcome them and invite them to join KIPS Technical College.
So it is okay
Yes.
to perhaps go to university, like you say.
Yes.
But equally on the other side, if you can find some time to
Yes.
join a technical or say any TVET
Yes.
to advance on what it is that you do.
Yes.
And those ones that really have not made it, perhaps, but I mean, because it's a society that has people of different walks of life. Those ones that really did not even go to the usual general school, so that they've not been to primary school, not been to secondary schools, they do not have these qualifications. What happens to such individuals?
The coming in of 2010 Constitution gave birth to Kenya National Qualifications Authority.
Yeah.
Now, National Qualifications Authority has developed a path through within which a person can begin from zero to the highest level of education.
Yeah.
For example, at TVET level now we have artisan courses.
Okay.
Artisan courses, these ones are majorly done by those who class 8 dropouts.
Oh,
this
right.
person can do an artisan course, proceed to a certificate, craft certificate, proceed to a diploma, proceed to a degree, whichever level he or she aspires to.
All right.
So there are also other examination bodies that allows those who even do not qualify to class 8. Now, NITA, National Industrial Training Authority,
Right.
trains students on skills to be applied in the market. This one, you only are required to have your national ID.
Right.
And you will be trained, you will be given the skills, and you will be given the certificate by National Industrial Training Authority.
All
So
right.
we encourage everybody who has an ability to do something, to just get a paper, get that paper, whether from NITA, whether from Kenya National Examination Council. Those ones, all of them are available at our institution, at our disposal. KIPS Technical College, we train all. They are examined by these bodies. And I can tell you after that, they will never regret
Well put. Thank you
Yes.
so much,
Yes.
Sue, Registrar. Employment readiness and career growth is what we've been talking about this morning. If you're just joining us, not to worry. We have this broadcast on our social media platforms. You know, we understand that it's at TV47 across all our social media platforms, so you can always go back to it. It's quite an important conversation, especially at this space where everyone is trying to fight for their opportunity. Amos Kirwa, the registrar, KIPS Technical College. Where do they come again if they'd want to join KIPS? Any contacts or any social media platforms or pages that they would go to?
Yeah, they can go to, we have our website, www.kips.se.ke. They can call our contacts at any time, 0720-813-113. Yes.
0720-813-113.
Yes, they can visit us across our campuses. Along Thika Road, we have one, Mirema Drive.
Okay.
We have another one at Greenspan Mall. We have another one at Fire Station opposite Koja Station. We also have a branch in Wakulima House, KPCU near Mudhurwa.
Yeah.
For those who are...
That should have been the first one,
yes.
yeah? Yeah.
For those who are working in Mudhurwa, at 5 when you close your business, you can just
Evening
branch
class.
there. Yes, do an evening class. We have another one at Philadelphia, and the head office at Afya Center, 11th floor.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for speaking to us this morning, and also for the great insights as to how we can be ready for employment as well as shape our careers, that is to make sure that we grow, not just individually, but as well, contribute to the growth of the nation. We close this one. Remember, it's a Feel Good Friday. We still have lots lined up for you. Fredia is on standby with music, but above everything, later on, we'll be having L'Afrique, and also we'll be getting to that moment of poetry. So don't you go anywhere.